It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
I've got a fever, and it's more Tech Talk here at Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com.
You got to do it in the walk-in voice.
I got a fever. Is that better? What did you grumble over there? Clint Scott, grumbling Dr. Mike Gustafson.
That was a sigh.
Doctor!
Figure out the difference between a sigh huff and a grumble.
Sorry. Don't get huffy with me. How about that? Huffing. I'll let you guess what that means. Gus is huffing something on Tech Talk. Brendan Riker behind the glass taking care of us. Bobby Hot Dogs with a very good question from the story you shared in the last segment. Did Gus yell, "It's Doctor!" at this girl? Did you?
Where?
The story, when you were...
The softball player in Virginia?
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know that names were exchanged. Maybe during the introduction.
And then you yelled at her. Oh, Razzle
What I
Dazzle.
know, it was close to the start of the Red Raider game, so there's probably some Red Raider football game, so there's probably some tension on my part. Okay. Let's wrap up the small talk, lady. There's stuff to be done.
Old Razzle Dazzle said...
You should clip that and use it, Riker.
Old Razzle Dazzle said Brandon Ryder is one of my favorite musicians.
Yes.
Congratulations, Brandon. Our Brandon Ryder, not whoever this...
You're not the only musical talent, Clint, on Tech Talk.
Take her away, man.
And then Gus is known... We all know Gus is well known for his ability to sing opera.
That's true. I can back this up. Yeah, He's a big fan of the opera guy.
All right.
Topless broadcaster, horse name. Throw in naked swimmer to honor Chuck.
Oh, that's right. Chuck's been known to naked swim in his own pool. Isn't that the word? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's his confession to us. I know, Clint, you tried to go peek over the fence to see it in person, but I got run out of there. But yeah.
I know. I like my sight. Thank you. Braden had...
eyes.
I'm blind. Braden had this question. If Tech were to make the college football... I like that we can have this question, by the way, and not just be like,
right.
Okay.
Fantasyland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of here, psycho. If Tech were to make the college football playoffs and win the Big 12, how did tickets go as far as if we hosted the first game?
Ooh, that's a good question. We could probably do some digging to see how the Penn States and whatnot handled it, but I would assume there's a sizable...
Probably not going to be the Penn States this year having to deal with that.
I'm referencing last year's Penn States, but yeah, they were among the schools that hosted in that first round. But I mean, and just in watching those games, the home team was like a home game, right? Mm-hmm. And so I would assume season ticket holders and things like that are going to get benefits. Now, is there a few more seats carved out for the visiting team? I'm sure that there has to be a section that's in place for the visiting team, but just based on what we saw last year from those 5 through 8 games, is that right? Yeah, the ones played on campus, they were home games for those teams. I would assume if you're a season ticket holder, you're probably in good shape to. I don't know how that works though. If you're getting your seats or just you're in line to get any seat, I would assume you got a little priority in the same way that you might as at a Tech baseball regional and that sort of thing. Get first crack at your own seats.
I'm trying to go.
Sure, they won't be cheap, right?
Right. I don't know what the pricing changes or anything like that, but I'm trying, like, to your point, I'm trying to go through those home games last year, and even with, like, you gotta have, you would guess you would have to have something for the visiting team, even remembering a noticeable visiting section where I was like, oh, yep, there's the Clemson section right there in Austin, oh, yep, there's the SMU part, and I don't remember anything standing out. Now, that's been however many months ago, and as we mentioned with the chocolate milk thing, I could use some to have better memory. But I would venture to guess if you found yourself hosting a college football playoff game, even with that, I can't imagine you're going to have a very large strip of whoever it may be that comes in here as the opponent.
And it probably depends on the program. I mean, if it's Notre Dame, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to have plenty of following, whoever it is, I guess, unless it's just a Cinderella. I don't know who that would be. Who would be sort of Cinderella-ish.
Well, if you get like the group of five, like I can't imagine like South Florida.
Some projections that maybe Memphis comes to Lubbock. I don't imagine they're going to have I'm sure they'll have people come. It's just not going to be a noticeable contingent where it's like, oh, wow, there's a lot of Memphis fans here today. Mm-hmm. I don't know that to be certain, but...
And I would assume
that's what I was trying to remember from last year when Clemson went to Texas. Clemson has an awesome fan base, right? Mm-hmm. We all know about Tyler, even when they're upset, and that fan base has been there, done that, right? Like they've won national championships. Even then, again, I don't remember what percentage of Clemson Orange was over in Austin, but if there was, it wasn't. I don't even in the broadcast if they referenced it. I don't ever remember like noticing it going like, all right, there's the strip of Tiger Orange compared to burnt orange. So I'm sure there's a way to make that very difficult.
Yeah, surely it's your typical kind of road section allotment. Mm-hmm. I doubt that the visiting team gets those seats there at the 50-yard line. Move your most expensive ticket holders out of there. I mean, it's got to be. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you get the upper tank down there in the north end zone, just like all the other games. But there probably also has some sort of legislated minimum. They got to get 4,000. Then it probably works through their donor situation. Hypothetically, if it was Memphis, probably their top givers and season ticket holder points, however they do their donor stuff, get the first crack at that situation. But the thing I think about is, just as I've talked about this over the last couple of years, with my son, like, can you imagine December 19th and 20th? I mean, Clint, that's the full weekend after graduation, normally a time when campus is very quiet. We're all sort of geared into holiday mode. And all of a sudden, it's like, hey, the biggest game in our school's history will be played here in 6 days, Mm-hmm. I mean, can you imagine that, just that whole scene at a time that's, there's probably people that would be like, because that's either the Friday the 19th or Saturday the 20th that people are like, schools are K through 12s are shutting down and you're rolling out to, people leaving town to go ski trips, whatever else. And it's like, whoa, hang on.
Well, no, I can't imagine it because you're going to get a bye. You're going to be in the top 4.
I like that too. That's even better.
Also, it's crazy. How many times did we say Memphis and Brennan off his game a little bit?
He's on there. When I was walking in Memphis. He's in there working on that one clip.
I'm a little distracted right now.
A lot going on.
I'm trying to read through some lobster font on this end of the glass.
I think you guys have gaslit me. You guys have been gaslighting me.
We're not gaslighting you. It's a real font.
Yeah, you made up this.
Use the Google machine.
You made up this weird font. You got a couple people on the chat line in on it, and then you showed me a picture of Floyd Data, whoever was using lobster font over there for their roster.
Use the lobster font.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by Happy State Bank. Clint, Gus, and Brennan. Gus, behind the curtain here, about 2 hours ago, Rob and I wrapped up filming this week's episode of Red Raider Recon, and one of the things that we talked about, it was hard to not at least talk about it in some way after the Houston win, was both the red zone offense and pre-snap penalties, right? So that was a big part of the game, even though it wasn't a big part of the game because it was a big part of the game because it held you back from beating them by 20 more points than you did, but it wasn't because it didn't. You beat them so badly it didn't hurt you. Head coach Joey McGuire met with the media yesterday. I wanted to get his thoughts. He was asked first about the red zone offense.
Yeah, it really comes down to what I just said that I'm struggling with is the pre-snap penalties because we are down in the end zone and we have a penalty. We have movement in the offensive line. We're going to walk in on that play. Then the next play, we run toss sweep. We have movement by the tight end. We're going to walk in on that play. And so that was more than anything what caused that. And, I think everybody watching football and around the country sometimes are really kind of interested, too, of, like, what a touchdown is. I really felt like that Cam Dickey scored. I don't know from all the angles that we have, TV and our videos, that he didn't score, but they have the same angles and they said they didn't, so that's fine. We should have scored the very next play. So I think that's the biggest thing because I rewatched the TV copy and I know y'all do too, but I rewatched the TV copy last night and going into that game we were 65% in the red zone and we kicked a lot of field goals and so we've got to focus on that. That's something that's going to be it is every single week, but just continue to focus on it.
Yeah, I think so much of good football is what happens in both red zones. And the key thing there for this team, when you think about the other night, is 10 scoring chances? 7 field goal opportunities and 3 touchdowns, right? Mm-hmm. That's a lot. And even though they didn't, they didn't get a lot of 7s out of that deal, that's really playing on the other end of the field a lot.
Well, that's something, again, on Red Raider Recon you can check out tomorrow. It felt like you were really good in between the 10s because you were.
Yeah, sure.
The problem was, obviously, that's what held you back from a lot of 7s and got some 3s instead. But the red zone offense doesn't concern me, and here's why. So you had some issues early on against Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State, where it wasn't all. And this goes for short yardage situations too, because your running game was clunky when you were trying to do it. And everyone, remember, we were going like, "Oh, can you not fire off the ball and push them back? Or you outmatched?" Right. And it wasn't that. It was just your offensive line was still trying to gel together. And also, Coach McGuire had mentioned this, like, hey, these young running backs are learning to be patient and wait for these running lanes to develop and then hit the hole and not just run, crash forward, and jam in and see if you can break a tackle. Well, that's gotten better. And that wasn't why you struggled at all against Houston. In fact, your red zone offense, you've been pretty good about getting it to the goal line and punching it in when you don't have a penalty. Your red zone offense, when it struggled this time, was kind of uncharacteristically not taking advantage of the layups. Like when you throw a screen and you have a guy just drop it or just go right through the hands, things like that.
Yeah, and so big drops.
And so it wasn't, it's not like an awesome reason. It's not like a yay reason, but that part, I'm not walking away going it's going to be that way every single week. The penalties, if that keeps happening, that could be a concern.
Yeah, and especially when we think about penalties on the road, and there was less pre-snaps junk as there was in Utah, and they'd had 2 weeks to work on some silent count and whatnot. But starting quarterback said this was a home game in Houston, and so really saying, hey, we didn't have to make any real accommodations for noise there in Houston. But I think I thought Coach McGuire was saying, hey, let's keep this thing simple. Because he said, let's get off the ball. Let's get in our stance and get off the ball. We're spending a lot of time in a stance.
Let's get his thoughts on pre-snap penalties.
And that's why I think I got off on the tangent of the run game coordinators. Like I told him the other night, like, hey, look, we're scheming up these plays. And it's fun as coaches to scheme stuff up. That's what we do every day. That's what they're doing right now up there. But sometimes when you're in those situations, hey, let's just get lined up and come off the football. It doesn't have to have all the motion. It doesn't have to have, that your numbers, because that's what's happening. Like the toss sweep, we have all the numbers. So now you're saying, okay, Houston, you're either going to adjust to this or you're not. If you don't adjust to it, we're walking in. Same run that happened against Iowa State when Taj scored and we won that game. Something similar. Things like that coming into big packages. It's one of those deals that's tough because we haven't been good in the past in short yardage at times, and so we're scheming stuff up. But right now, some of the stuff we're scheming up, we're in our stances for a long time. And then there's some of just the anxiousness. So we've got to do a better job of in the situations, knowing the situation as coaches. Hey, let's get lined up. Let's come off the football and let's score. Or when their situation calls for, we got to scheme it up.
Yeah, that sounds like he's saying, let's keep this thing simple.
Yeah, I agree.
He's kind of telling us, hey, less scheming and more, let's get off the ball, go. And
if you're struggling with something, take out steps for the struggle, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's not a whole let's re-rack this whole offense thing, but it sounds like let's keep this thing simple here. Make sure we're coming off the ball and hitting somebody and keep it simple. Maybe not having to scheme quite so much down there in the end zone.
And that also means hey, don't be creative, Mac Leftwich. No, but like when you get on the one, again, you've gotten better about just opening it up and punch it in. Here's Cam Dickey. Here's Jacoby Williams. And you did that when you didn't false start.
True.
More Tech Talk next.
It's every Red Raiders' favorite podcast. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is hour number 3 of Tech Talk. Give us your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. You can also call us on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. We are live from the First United Bank studio for one more hour. You can watch us on Fox 34 News Now and on YouTube. Don't forget about youtube.com/Double T Sports Network. That is the easy way to find us over there. And if you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything like that, follow us at Double T 97.3. Clint Scott, Dr. Mike Gustafson, Brandon Riker. I almost called you Brendan Riker. At this point, I've lost track. Baxter Riker. Brandon Riker behind the glass taking care of us. We'll have the high school fan zone on tonight, 6 o'clock, 100.7 The Score. We got this question on the Yates Flooring Center chat line from Mitchell. Thank you for the question. Do you think a Big 12 team is able to get a 2 or 1 seed in the playoff, or are we stuck as a 4 through 5?
I can't imagine our league getting ranked that high without running the table and a little carnage around us, right? In other words, if the Buckeyes run the table, we're not going to be a 1 and they're a 2.
It does feel like you're destined for like the 3rd seed cap, and even then I think that's going to be easier said than done, because I feel like you're just how the weight of the conferences are.
Sure.
That's just going to be held against you.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to be upset if you get a 3 or a 4. If you get that,
me either.
I'm not going to be upset.
Probably
just
the
like
key there. Yeah.
Even if we feel like there's a situation where we got, screwed in the seeding or anything like that, and you're sitting at 5 and you're the first one that misses out on a bye, but you get that home game here. I mean, the silver lining is going to be, dude, you're in the playoff.
I know.
You're hosting a game, and even with a faceless opponent at this point, if you're sitting there with a 5 seed, I kind of like you in that game at home.
Yep.
So, but I think buy
us or give us a home game.
I would still take the buy.
Yep.
But as far as could you make it to a 2 or 1, I'm with you. I think you would need to be perfect. Yeah. You would need to be perfect,
13-0.
and you would need to be winning games the entire time the way that you are. Maybe one game was close.
Yep.
But past that, like we had style points asked last week. I think defensively you've already logged in style points of what you've done, just completely hammering teams. I mean, giving them no life. But if you're sitting there and that average is well below 20 points per game and your margin of victory is what it has been right now, somewhere in the 20s, and then you have a little help, I don't know. You can dream a little, Gus.
Yeah,
you can dream a little. The key is who falls in front of you, and even if there's like, I just don't feel confident that you jump a 1-loss Big Ten champion Ohio State team.
Brand name. Sure, I'm with you.
I'd like to test it though.
Yeah, maybe if there's some recency, if a 1-loss Ohio State team means they lost the championship game to some,
sure.
there could be some timing to that. But yeah, I don't think back to the question. I don't think it happens without running the table. 13-0.
You've got to take care of your end to even test that.
Yes.
Just like if you were to drop a game and you still won the Big 12. I'd have a hard time imagining that you were anywhere even on the 3rd or 4th seed. I think you could still think you could host a game if you dropped a game, but tell me when it happened, one, and then what else is happening around you.
Yeah.
This on the chat line, Brennan/Brandon is going to be the new Gary, Jerry, Larry Gergich. Yeah, pretty much. The only way I have found to lose weight is to have emergency gallbladder surgery.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. There's probably other less dire surgeries, but I think now the pill bottle is probably replace the scalpel, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's probably for the better, especially because in many cases it seems like there's type 2 diabetes involved that precedes that. Not always.
Bobby Hot Dogs had this. So Brandon does retain Thetford and Ashby knowledge. Good for him. I always thought he was sleeping off Friday's hangover in the production booth.
Nope. I pay attention. I have to pay attention.
He's not called upon as much. He's not called upon to play audio. It was one time, a couple Saturdays ago. Really good segment by some guy.
It really threw him off, too.
Yeah, no. Brennan, it threw the other guys off. The two over here were like, hey, look at that. Oh, that was fun. I haven't talked to Coach Ash since his son-in-law, Alex Wimmers, was put into the Ohio State University Athletic Hall of Fame this past weekend. Yeah, he's a Buckeye legend. That's no small feat.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, in large part due to him winning the National Player of the Year award. National Pitcher of the Year award.
I was going to ask you this. We had the North Carolina guest from Brennan Braxton. Did you see the news today for North Carolina football?
The Drake May, the failure to...
Well, there was that. Yeah. The weird failure to have a timely, hey, you just had a dude have a big win.
Proud of our guy.
So something I was excited about in the offseason has been scrapped.
Oh.
They were doing the season-long recap with North Carolina on Hulu.
Oh, really?
Or just on Hulu. And that got canned, at least announced today. I wonder why that happened, Gus.
Yeah, they're not good. I read a clip from somebody today. It was a group of 5 coach, and he was saying, I couldn't figure out what the deal was, that they were getting a bunch of our players and a bunch of our commitments. It's like, and the point there is to say that North Carolina and a lot of their recruiting, now to be fair, it was sort of last minute, but relatively speaking, but they were going out and recruiting against a group of 5 schools for players. Probably not the way to win. Across the board, you can sneak one in every once in a while, but not a path to success in the Power 4.
The podcast put together with Red Raider fans in mind. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It is Tech Talk on Double T 97.3, DoubleTSportsNetwork.com, and the Double T 97.3 mobile app, brought to you by Happy State Bank, Clint, Gus, and Brennan. So something that came with that portal window change that I wasn't aware of, but that's not too surprising that I wasn't aware of something. But another change that comes with it is players will now have a 15-day window to enter the transfer portal when a new head coach is hired. So they still have that portal window, but it's done in a different way. This is from Matt Zenitz. So this is a noteworthy change of how they do it. So instead of having the 30-day window to enter the transfer portal after a coach is fired or leaves, players will now have to wait until 5 days after a new head coach is hired to enter the portal, and then that window will be 15 days instead of 30. So there is a different approach there.
Yeah, that is interesting. That sounds like it's the same. You'd have to say all that again, and you don't have to. But it sounds like it's the same kind of net 30 or close to the same net 30. But it's there's some other layers built into it, basically giving every head coach a chance to retain the roster, right?
Mm-hmm. Man, that's got to be if it's like a long hire, if you're the last one in that hiring cycle.
Oh no.
Like if you're a player for like what Arizona went through, because they got Brent Brennan pretty late in that hiring cycle.
Because he was about third in the ripple.
Yeah. And I don't think Arizona wanted to hire Brent Brennan.
Because Saban retired. Washington to Alabama. Arizona,
you got DeBoer over them, fish to Washington.
Fish to Washington, and then...
And all along while that's happening, all the other like Arizona-style level jobs that they might have been looking for some of those guys, well, they were already hired or settled. So, yeah, interesting. Lumberjack said, I'd be surprised if a lot of these contracts don't have contingencies for these type of changes with how things are constantly evolving. You know,
I know there's buyout language and all of it, or the rules call for that. Basically, if somebody wants to come in here after Hammond, they're going to, I'm using Hammond as the example. We've all talked about it, including Coach McGuire, about the 2-year. We've got him signed up for 2 years. If somebody wanted to come in and spend a bunch of their rev share on it, not only are you going to have to pay him, you're going to have to buy out Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. So but that's, at least that's given everyone some agreed to terms, right?
Yeah.
We're agreeing to this much over 2 years, and you're putting your signature on it, and everyone has a basis for this, rather than, hey, you promised me, right?
Yeah.
You like it here, right? It's a little more controlled.
You told my mom
yeah.
I'd get $250,000
text from you. Yeah, and then the flip side of that is the position coach who said, hey, Johnny, we'll take care of you. And then Johnny comes around 6 weeks from now and goes, hey, Coach, you said you're going to take care of me. Yeah. Yeah, and we've seen that. And you know what the beauty of it is? That sort of thing has not happened at Texas Tech. We've had an I's dotted, T's crossed situation really from the beginning of this portal. It's not to say we won them all. We've even lost players through this situation, some that we've wanted to retain across the sports, but one more than we've lost. But
that for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. But we've been organized in our efforts. Safe to say.
Yeah. What did you think about Jerry Jones? You see the story? Has been fined $250,000 by the NFL for a quote, obscene gesture
goodness,
towards fans at MetLife Stadium. He double birded them.
Oh,
he
my
flipped them
gosh.
off. I don't know what the context was or what led to it, but the still picture was real, and either way, it's got to be nice to know that you just can do anything and it doesn't really matter because you're that loaded.
Held to a higher standard.
You're that loaded and you're in an unfireable position because you own the team and you're the general manager for the team. And
that's how Jerry says hi to everyone.
Yeah. Get a piece
including
of
Micah Parsons. He was greeting him that way, and he's like, I don't know why Micah left.
Have a piece of this pie. Double birds. What a joke. Oh, man. He had this to say. That was unfortunate. Brendan, I can give this to you if you want to do it in the voice, if you want to read the whole thing. That was unfortunate. That was kind of an exchange with our fans out in front of us. There was a swarm of Cowboys fans out in front, not Jets fans, Cowboys fans. The entire stadium was brimming with enthusiasm of Cowboys, and certainly late in the game.
No admission to doing anything wrong there. Just whatever.
He also said this: the gesture was inadvertent on my part because that was right after we made our last touchdown, and we were all excited about it. There wasn't any antagonistic issue or anything like that. I just put up the wrong show on the hand. It was inadvertently done. I'm not kidding. If you want to call it accidental, you can call it accidental. But it got straightened around pretty quick.
I mean, to be clear,
I accidentally flip off a lot of people.
I know, that's what I was going to say. To be clear, I don't care. But, I'm not, there's no moral outrage here as I say that. But like, hey, fourth grader, just we've got this thing going on with men in power these days. We don't apologize for anything. Like, dude, just say, hey, it was stupid. All right. It was a dumb mistake. I'm sorry.
He said his intention.
Sound like a fourth grader. Did you knock the lamp off the table?
Oh my
no.
Gosh. Yeah.
Me.
He said his intention was a thumbs up.
Yeah. Well, then you're
mentally
ill.
If you can't do a thumbs up, if that's
you
real,
confuse this finger with this
you
one,
shouldn't be running the Dallas Cowboys.
That tells you all you need to know, right?
Cowboys fans have been saying this for years now.
They've been giving you thumbs up for years, Jerry. Golly. Right here. Oh, wrong ones. My bad. All right, you flip off the camera, and then we'll go down there and use that as an excuse and see if we get away with it.
Hey, Brad, I'm sorry, man. I was really giving thumbs up in there to Brennan on a good job, but I just double-barreled him.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sorry. I think that's how we're supposed to do this. You don't apologize.
Is that the Aggie way of flipping people off?
No, that's hey.
Crazy.
Howdy.
Good stuff, man. Oh, hey, whoa, what are you saying over there? Just Tech Talk on Double T 97.3.
The podcast that finishes your workday in a very Red Raider way. This is the Tech Talk Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Ask Tech Talk is brought to you by Visual Edge IT. Give us your questions on the 8th Flooring Center chat line. One more with us. Clint Scott, Dr. Mike Gustafson, Brennan, Brandon, Braxton, Brock, Brinkley.
I think Brock's the only one that I'm going to say no.
Brock Riker behind the glass taking care of us.
See, the problem is a Brock Riker is actually a real person.
Sorry, Brock Ryder.
Let's just stick with Brandon Ryder.
Resident Aggie had this. Easy with that, Brandon. Don't make me come up there.
Just a little fun banter. Just a little fun. Although, I will say, I have a hard time trying to figure out a lot of the A&M culture. So for context,
don't try that hard. It's all right.
Yeah. Whenever I went to Tech and A&M in basketball in Fort Worth, had a lot of fun, and they do the hand signal things, and I was like, well, I don't understand what they're trying to do. And at that time, I was with my friend who's a TCU fan, and he said, "Why are they doing the guns up?" I said, "I don't know, man. I don't know."
TCU
friend. TCU and Vanderbilt played before that, so we watched that game. Then we watched the Tech and A&M game. Yeah, the TCU Vanderbilt game was atrocious.
Sometimes it's healthy to cut people out of your lives if they're toxic. Just saying.
We provide good balance for each other.
Tech Talk. That's a good question. Who's been the best offensive unit this year? So maybe the offensive group.
Like in Big 12 play?
I think for you.
Like backs, receivers.
Yeah, I think that's how I'm taking it.
It's hard to. I mean, I'm inclined to say backs, but and maybe I can make a claim for that based on not only the ground game and that sort of thing, which is probably first and foremost when we think about running backs, but both of those running backs have like big explosive play catches.
You know what they also are? Because I'm with you. That's my answer. Yeah. And it's not that I think...
And that's without perhaps our best one.
Right. and that's what I think. One, if you're going who maybe has exceeded expectations even more than what we thought, that's clearly the running backs. Especially when you add in the injury that started the year, right? And then, I think it's all... You've had good everywhere. But the running backs... Look at him. Cam Dickey is 7th in the conference in rushing. So start there. Jacoby Williams is 9th. You're the only one in the Big 12 with 2 backs in the top 10. And that's just rushing, right? They've already combined for over 1,000 yards, which is crazy to think about. They're combining for 200 yards per game, Gus. And also, you add, like what you said, they've been explosive play guys. They've been some of your better touchdown scorers, especially in Big 12 play, 2 against Utah, 3 in the last game against Houston. It's going to be hard for either one of them, to me, to be in the all-conference conversation because they are so split down the middle. I hope I'm wrong about that. But, especially when you put in expectation, it's your two running backs. Yeah.
Yeah, and it felt like we would be, I was wondering when we would get into one of them really, turning it into a 2/3, 1/3 type situation. And it just, hopefully it doesn't happen just because the balance is probably not the worst thing team wise. But, or even that we go, this one's going to be a little more pass catcher. This one's going to be a little more red zone. Now, it just hadn't worked out the way. And again,
you're slamming at the goal line with Jacoby Williams and having 69-yard pass touchdowns to Cam Dickey.
Blitz beater passes. Yeah. And that was such a nice play. That 69-yard pass the other day was so nice because it was a blitz beater.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. It was a blitz beater, and it was just sweet by Barron to be patient and let that thing clear and just a nice little flip over there. The pass itself was nothing. It's the 3 of us yahoos could go out here in the parking lot and execute the pass, but it's the letting the back clear in a way that Dickey catches that, and it's just green pastures, and then running away from dudes.
He's got to juke out one dude and then outrun everybody.
And then outrun people, which I again didn't know that outrunning people was part of his game. But yeah, those 2 have been impressive, and hopefully we can keep them both healthy. It's fun to think about what the third one would have been.
I know.
Good grief.
This one, T-Bone. Hey, guys, just think how good Tech would be if they played with just half of the mistakes and penalties. No doubt. And I think that's why – that's not why I'm excited, but it is a reason for excitement because I do think it's things that you can fix. I do think that they're fixable, and especially just from the offensive side because your defense, you've been – basically perfect. There has obviously been a few points scored on you and a few yards, but show me what you're doing wrong right now that you're looking like, we really need to improve in that area. Sure. And I'm sure the coaching staff over there, I'm sure Sheil Wood is digging through stuff and you're dealing with a different situation every week, and this week could be the best quarterback you see this year. He's certainly playing that way. So a whole new set of challenges, but
we could get 2 weeks in a row of the best quarterback we're going to face.
That's true.
And I know that it was really interesting that the very first thing Coach, we talked a little bit about this yesterday, and you've seen it in social and on TV news and just everywhere that covers this team. But the very first 5 minutes of the presser yesterday, weekly media availability with Coach McGuire, was him saying, "Hey, when our defense is on the field, y'all be as loud as you can, please. Throw the tortillas, do the deal, but we need noise."
I think the role of our fans, Red Raider Nation, I really need you guys to, understand that it's not about throwing tortillas. Let's get it out of the way right off the bat, and then let's focus on when that defense which is the best defense in the country. When that defense takes the field, stand up, get loud.
You know when he first started saying that? Not that I thought he was going to mean something like, we need to get rid of the tortillas or anything like that. Just how he started when he's like, it's not about the tortillas. I was like, are we going to have a whoopsie incident with the fan base where they're like, do you think that that's what he wants? And then he cleared it up and was just like, it's about, the whole time and huge moments, being loud. And I think more he was getting at, let's not turn that into a penalty or something like that this week, because this is your first home game where you're ramping up the competition by quite a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even then, that's a far from perfect Kansas squad coming in clearly, but still, between Pine Bluff, Kent State, and Oregon State at home, this is the best one you will have seen so far. And it's a legit Kansas offense and a defense that doesn't know how to tackle situationally.
Well, I think they present a unique challenge for sure, and Jalen Daniels is a special kind of player. Doesn't mean that he won't. Hopefully, he comes in here and gets it handed to him. But this could be the team that's most capable of doing some damage. And again, us creating a bunch of noise, and I say us because I sit in the stands. I don't sit in the press box, but us creating a lot of noise is really problematic for a team that does a lot of adjusting at the line of scrimmage and wants to move people around.
Right, and that's specifically what he's talking about.
Exactly.
And we're going to get into some of the window dressing and stuff like that tomorrow that they do, because it does provide a unique challenge. But I still think one that you're going to be plenty up for, and in the end we'll handle just fine.
Hey, if our crowd, if we are like we were for Oregon State for the first 7 plays, it's going to be really good in there.
This has been the Tech Talk Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.